You're listening to the Jiu Jitsu Lou podcast, and I'm Lou Temlett. I'm guessing you're having a good day because either you've been on the mats, considering getting on the mats, or maybe you have a vision to be a Jiu Jitsu coach. I'm so happy you're here listening or watching this episode. Please don't tap out before the end. When your friend tells you Jiu Jitsu is great, start training Jiu Jitsu. I'd like to welcome Codi Steele and her dad Derek to the podcast. Hi Codi, hi Derek, how are you?
Oh, yeah, we're fine, thanks.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for joining me. Codi, you are no stranger to being a podcast guest. So this is your fourth podcast. I am very pleased to have you on Jiu Jitsu Lou podcast, and you, Derek. Thank you for joining me. Let's have a quick intro from you, Codi. Tell me your age, your rank, and how long you've been training Jiu Jitsu.
I'm 12 years old. I'm a yellow and white belt, and I've been training Jiu-Jitsu for about 3.5 years.
Fantastic. And you are based in Scotland. Tell me whereabouts you train.
I train in an Inverness Highland Top team, but I sometimes go to HMAC as well.
Fantastic. And you've been training Jiu-Jitsu for 3.5 years. Have you enjoyed your journey so far?
Yeah, definitely.
Fantastic. We will hear more about some highlights in a minute. But I just want to say hello to you, Derek. You, in fact, also train Jiu-Jitsu and are a Blue Belt Masters 4. So
Yes.
High five to you, Derek. We are standing here and our kids are training Jiu-Jitsu. Maybe because they're training Jiu-Jitsu, we have been drawn in to the Jiu-Jitsu community. When did you start training and why, Derek?
Well, I started training, it was predominantly because I was always at the gym with the kids and they were training, and then the coach said, why don't you try training? So I did, but I never used to train or do any sort of sport because I've had major knee surgery, had the ACL reconstruction 3 times, so I got told I couldn't do any contact sport, but I seem to have lost a lot of weight and started training, and here I am.
Amazing. Well, thank you for supporting Codi in her journey. We will hear from you again in a moment. Codi, now you take part in lots of different competitions and you've got lots of friends in Jiu-Jitsu, but let's talk about your competitive history and some of the highlights you've had over the last few years.
Yeah, definitely. I really like competing, and definitely Young Subs has helped me with my Jiu-Jitsu journey. I'm part of the kids program for Grappling Industries, so I get free entry for that, so that helps. And then I'm also a Young Subs ambassador.
Fantastic. Now, what does being a Young Subs ambassador mean? What do you have to do?
So basically, I've been to every Young Subs, and I was just taking any fight because it's all for the experience, and I didn't really care if my opponent was to beat me or not. But so they asked me to be an ambassador, so I get free entry, and
just you help them out by promoting the brand and stuff.
Fantastic. That sounds really good. Now, where does this drive for just wanting to take matches, regardless of a win or a learn? Where does that kind of drive come from, Codi?
We're normally doing competitions down in England because there's not really any sort of comps in Scotland, and even if there is, since I've got promoted to yellow belt, there's not a lot of yellow belts my weight and age. So we're normally driving down to England and all that. It's not very fun.
Amazing. Now, I just want to elaborate because we always forget when we're using language, it can be interpreted in many ways. Now, it wasn't necessarily meaning drive specifically, but where does the energy and intent come from for you just to take any match possible? What do you want to get out of your kind of competitive journey, and why are you taking these matches?
I just want to learn, and even if I wasn't taking good matches, if I was just taking matches where I knew I could win, I wouldn't get any experience from that. And if I was promoted, I'd just get absolutely smashed because I'm against people that I beat. I'm not learning from losing.
You sound so wise already, Codi. Tell me about some of the learning that you've had from some of those kind of losses in those matches. What have you learned the most?
I'd say that I need to keep my arms tight.
Good.
It's just like, honestly, because I used to get quite upset when I lost, but now since I'm just taking a lot of not a lot of losses, but I'm winning as well. But I'm just sort of, and I just keep my head up, because
Good. Now, tell me about some of those head up moments where you felt amazing about your win and your performance.
Probably my second young subs when I got the win, because obviously in my first young subs I lost against a talented opponent, and I was quite upset about that. But then I won, and that gave me more confidence to keep on competing at young subs. I was quite happy about when I went to the Worlds and I got bronze. Even though I lost, I still got a win in there.
Yeah. Nice. Now, standing on the podium or winning a medal, what does it feel like for you?
It just feels like I'm just like happy and like the best I could have been.
Yeah. Nice. So always happy with your performance, kind of winning or losing or learning, whatever it happens to be. But tell me about some of the early times where you lost matches and you felt quite upset. How did you deal with that, those feelings at the time?
I just sort of got on with it. I was quite upset at the Worlds, my first Worlds, when I didn't get a medal in one of the categories because I lost my first match. But then I just thought about it and thought like, oh, it's just like, if I was fighting a different girl, I could have won that and got a medal, but it's just the way that they put out the brackets and all that.
Nice. I think it's incredible to be able to step back from any competition and reflect on what might have been or what could be, and just maybe see the situation from a different perspective. Because often when you're in that situation, it can feel quite tough. There can be a lot of emotions, good or bad. And all of them are fine, but just to have that kind of surge of emotion. Derek, how has it been supporting Codi through her competition journey?
It's been quite hectic. It's just seemed to travel a lot, but I've watched her grow as a jiu-jitsu practitioner a lot, and she's matured a lot. Like as she says, she got quite upset if she'd lose a match, and she would be upset. But now it's like it's different. Like she is a little bit upset if she was to lose, but then she takes it all in her stride, and it's just straight on to the next one.
Amazing. Now, how many competitions do you think you've taken part in so far, Codi?
I don't even know.
So many.
Yeah, a lot.
And tell me about some of the medals, because I know some of the designs of the medals are just look incredible. I just want to take part just because the medals look so cool, or they're kind of a collectible. I certainly prize my very, fantastic one singular IBJJF bronze medal so much. But tell me about some of your most favourite medals so far.
Do you mean as in how they look or how proud?
Well, maybe tell me about both sides of those things.
Well, really like the ADCC medals because they're quite cool. And then I like my Grappling Industries ones that I got in Dublin because I was against about 13 boys in my category and I managed to win 11 fights 11 fights, and I got silver. So I was quite happy with that. And then I also like my Scottish grappling medals because, yeah.
Just because. We always like things just because. Now, Derek, I just want to reflect back on the travelling, because all of these competitions, whilst you're based in Inverness in Scotland, I gather there aren't a huge amount of competitions in your local area. Tell me about all of the thousands of miles you've had to travel to support Codi.
Well, we live in Inverness, which is way up north, so we're 3 hours even to get to Edinburgh or Glasgow. And there is competitions in Edinburgh and Glasgow, but they're few and far between these days.
Yeah.
So we've got to travel to either Glasgow or Edinburgh airport and then fly out to like Dublin or whatever. Then we'll have to travel. Lately it's been to Liverpool, Newcastle, just all over the place. Wolverhampton, and we just drive. So it's just continuous thousands of miles getting racked up. But it's all good. It's like a community, because I've met so many lovely people over the course of the journey so far, and everyone seems to know us, so it's quite good.
Oh, that's so nice. Derek, you're a blue belt.
Yeah.
Have you competed a great deal, or are you just leaving the competition to Codi?
Well, I just leave the competitions to Codi as such. I would like to compete, but there's not that many belts at my age or weight. So if there is, I would go in, but there doesn't seem to be a lot.
He has competed.
But not a lot.
Okay, well, we will put a call out to any potential Masters 4 that's over a certain age of 40 something, guys out there that might think about starting to train jiu-jitsu. Go and start training, grow your jiu-jitsu skills, grow your own kind of community, or be part of our community, and just start training so that Derek has someone to fight in his local area. There we go. Derek, we'll match you up. But I do want to give you a medal for the thousands of miles that you are travelling to support Codi's competition.
Thanks.
I'll have to design, you know what, I will have to design a medal now. Okay, well, I'll leave that for another day. This is the Jiu Jitsu Lou podcast with me, Lou Temlett, coming to you from the UK. One of the things that would really help this show grow is by you subscribing on whichever platform you are listening or watching on: YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Amazon Music. If you could do that for me right now, I would be forever grateful. And as always, go and check out the clips on YouTube and Instagram. Today, I'm having a conversation with Codi Steele and her dad, Derek. So, Codi, we've talked about competitions. We've touched a little bit on the community, but I'd love for you to now talk about some of the friendships you've built over the years in Jiu-Jitsu.
There's actually quite a lot, because I'm just meeting new people all the time. But people that I'm really good friends with, I'd say that I see like most of the time, is Ellie Livingston, Cora. I'm not seeing that much of Taya because the only competition we met was at Young Subs, but we still speak to each other. Frankie as well. I'm good friends with her. Megan, Stacey. And then there's loads of people that I've actually competed against, and even if I've lost or won, we're still good friends. So like Abby, Grace, who else have I competed against?
That's you've done well to remember all of them. And I know, you know, when we meet friends on the jiu-jitsu mats, we might not be friends initially, but actually we've got so much in common. Being kind of fans of jiu-jitsu, being young individuals. Do you you obviously train with a number of them quite frequently, but talk to me about some of your training.
It's quite good. So basically, we're going down to Rising Phoenix quite a lot in Fife for open mat, because they've got so many girls my age and size. And then I'm joining in with the adults classes quite frequently. And then I'm obviously training at the kids. And then sometimes on Fridays I'm going to HMAC to bowl with all of the other boys and girls there that are my sort of weight and size.
Amazing. What do you most love about jiu-jitsu?
I'd say probably meeting lots of new friends because, as I say, I've met so many, and I just see them everywhere. And like, it's just good to have a friend at a competition and stuff to support you and all that. But yeah, that's probably the most.
Well, thank you for that. At the beginning of the episode, and before we started recording, we had a little bit of a conversation around you wanting to, or having a vision to be a jiu-jitsu coach. Now, tell me about some of your kind of, what you kind of see for the future of your jiu-jitsu in future years, if not sooner rather than later.
I just want to help people become really good at jiu-jitsu so that they won't have to do what I do and have to travel so much for kids their size, and also just to make new generations of jiu-jitsu.
Good. I think that's notable. What do you think, Dad?
Yeah, she's it'd be good if there was a lot more kids up here, because we find, because the population of Scotland is lacking behind England, well, as such, there's not so many kids up here that train.
Yeah.
So that's why we've got to travel so much. So it would be really good if there was more kids training up here, which it is happening. It is starting to grow.
Yeah.
The sport is growing rapidly in Scotland, but it'd be good if it could get a little help along.
I will be sharing with all my friends based in Scotland, even a little nod to the producer of this show, Kerr, Mathieson, who is based in Dundee. He won't be expecting a name check, and hopefully he won't edit this bit out. But shout out to you, Kerr. You could potentially be a match for Derek. Not putting you under pressure, but you've learned a lot about jiu-jitsu by listening to all these nearly 100 episodes. So if you're not on the mat soon, I will be calling you up and encouraging you to train. Anyway, sorry about that. Putting him in it now. Right. So when you started getting into jiu-jitsu, also at the beginning of the episode, you heard from a friend that jiu-jitsu was really great. Tell me about that.
Well, my brother came home because his friend showed him that, obviously, to do jiu-jitsu, and then I thought, and he said, oh, it's quite fun and all that, so I thought, oh, I might try it out just for fun. And then I started getting quite good at it, and then I started competing, and now it's just a daily thing.
Amazing. So if it's a daily thing, you train 7 days a week, or do you have any rest days?
So I'll be training Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays sometimes, and then Fridays, depends. But Saturdays and Sundays we sometimes go for open mats.
Yeah. So every opportunity you are training. And I'm assuming, Dad, you're having to take Cody to training as well.
Yes, well, it's me or her mum takes her to training as much as possible.
Fantastic. And do you get some training in after Cody has had her sessions?
Well, yes, or first thing in the morning at 6:30 sometimes.
See, there's dedication for you. Cody, you've had a positive influence on your family. Incredible. So you've got lots of friends in jiu-jitsu and you've done lots of competitions. What are you most looking forward to in the upcoming rest of this year?
I just want to compete a lot and get a lot of medals. It's not really about medals, but experience and all that. And I just want to make loads of new friends in jiu-jitsu. And yeah, that's mostly it.
Incredible. I think it's a great dedication. You're yellow and white belt. You're only 12 years old. You have a long career ahead of you. Derek, do you have any kind of thoughts or comments, either to support Codi or to encourage more people to start training jiu-jitsu?
Oh, it's actually quite liberating to start training jiu-jitsu, and it's addictive, and so you don't realise it. And at our age, it's you feel muscles that hurt that you didn't even know you had,
Yeah.
but in a good way. And if you wake up in the morning and you're not sore, well, you're dead.
Yes, I agree. And I think the more that we train jiu-jitsu, the more we actually feel alive, even though we might ache a bit at this stage. We know we're alive, and we know that we can continue training jiu-jitsu. And a long career ahead of all of us, I think.
Yeah, totally.
So this is your fourth podcast. Let's talk about some of the podcasts you've already been on. And if you, obviously, I know there's some connection with young subs and being an ambassador. Talk to me about some of the podcast experiences you've had already, Codi.
Well, I've only mostly been on podcasts with Spoonboy,
The combat companion.
And they're just sort of in preparation for young subs to share like how we're feeling and all that. And I quite enjoy it because it's just like a laugh at the same time.
Yeah. Good. How important do you feel it is that young people like yourself get the opportunity to be on podcasts?
I think it's important because young people need to have a face for jiu-jitsu and stuff but say like no one knew who I was, and I wouldn't get the opportunity to do all this and make as many friends, because there is people that I'm good friends with, but I've not met them. They're just messaging me and all that. Yeah.
So it's worthwhile for any young jiu-jitsu practitioner that may have started out their journey or, continuing their journey and want to be on a podcast, absolutely reach out. Also have a chat with Codi and Derek and kind of know the experience from being a guest, because sometimes it's not always that easy to take the first step and, get yourself on a podcast and, do a little bit of public speaking, because whilst you're performing on the mats at either competition or training or whatever, a podcast is very much similar. It's just all practice. And the more you do, the better you get at it. And I can really tell, Codi, that you have been on podcasts before and you sound very articulate and you know exactly what you're saying. And I see a great future as a jiu-jitsu coach and maybe even a podcaster yourself, Codi.
Maybe.
Maybe.
You've got two podcast hosts on your kind of, on your sidelines supporting you.
Yeah.
Incredible. Well, how can people follow your journey if they're not already, Codi?
On Instagram, I'm codi.steele.bjj. You can follow me on there, and then I've got updates on everything, sort of, all my competitions.
Incredible. Yeah. Well, I'd like to thank you both so much. Wishing you both a long and successful jiu-jitsu career. Look forward to seeing you on the next podcast and the next competition podium, both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you for telling your friends about this show. And as soon as this episode ends, I'd really appreciate you dropping the show a rating and a review. Thanks again for listening. Catch you on the next episode of the Jiu Jitsu podcast. Go training. Get started with Jiu Jitsu. Go now. Now.